Hi, this is Miss Goodale, and today I'm going to share with you about writing expressions when you are given a phrase. I have given you a notes sheet with some various keywords that will help you figure this out. I'm going to show you a chart with them on it. This has some additional ones that are not on your notes sheet, so you may want to jot these down. So in order to indicate addition, you might see the words sum, plus, total, and, together, additional, added to, combined with, more than, increased by. For subtraction, you might see the words minus, reduce, difference, left, change, less, fewer, decreased by, less than, take away, subtract from, how much less or how much left. Multiplication, you might see the words product, times, doubled, tripled, per. I put a star by this because per can also go with division depending on how it is used, so you have to be careful about that one. Squared, cubed, of, and multiplied by. Something that I tell the kids a lot is the word of can indicate multiplication, but not always. Every time you see the word of, you are not going to always multiply. So it's just a hint. All of these words are keywords that are hints, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that is exactly what's going to be happening. So for division, you might see the word ratio, quotient, average, over, again, per, into, half of, a third of, split evenly, shared equally, divided by, half of, a third of, anytime you say a fraction of, that might indicate division. I also want to point out to you, this is also on the notes sheet that I passed out, the different ways to show multiplication with a variable. So normally we're used to seeing the multiplication sign that looks like an X, but it can also be shown with a dot, or if we have a variable, it can be the whole number can be beside the variable. That means you multiply, or you might have two variables beside each other like x, y. That means x is multiplied by y. If you have a number on the outside of parentheses or a variable outside of parentheses, that can indicate multiplication also. You would not do that with two numbers. We can't do a 4 and a 4 beside each other and multiply them because that would look like 44. But if you have a variable and you put the number beside the variable, that indicates multiplication. So now let's get to some example problems. If I have a problem that says the sum of a number and 4, so I see the word sum, that tells me I'm going to be adding. A number just means some kind of variable. So I'm going to use the number or the letter X. You could use Y. It doesn't matter. So a number, I'm going to use X, and 4. So I know I'm going to use those. And then sum means addition, so I put a plus sign. 10 increased by a number. So increased by indicates addition. And then a number, again, I can just use X. I could use Y, I could use A, I could use B. It doesn't matter what letter I use. The difference of 2 and a number, that means 2 take away my number. A number less than 5, that means that my 5 is going to go first, and it's less than that much. So my 5 is going to be subtracting that. Do not get the order confused on this, because if it's less, you're not going to be able to subtract 5 from that number if the number is less than 5. 5 less than a number, this is the other way around. So if it's 5 less than a number, that means that your number is bigger, which would be your X or Y, and then you put your 5 after that. the product of 5 and a number. So that would be 5, and I can use multiple ways to show this. 5 times, I'm going to use y this time. I could show it with a dot, 5 times with a dot, or I could just show 5y. Those are all the same thing. Twice a number, so 2 times a number. I'm going to use y just because x looks like a times sign if I use the x there. I can use that. I can use a dot, or what I use most would be just putting the letter beside it. The quotient is division of a number and 4. So that would be my number divided by 4, or I could actually show division as my number over top of 4. The ratio of 10 and a number. Now this one says ratio, so I'm going to put my 10 on the top and my number y on the bottom. Okay, so those are some examples. You may see these in different forms, but just pay attention to how it says it and kind of look for your keywords in those phrases. Please ask questions if you still have some after this, or if you still need some help after watching this video. I know there's a lot that I cannot cover every single problem, so just make sure you ask questions. Thank you for listening.